Yo, what up, everybody? It's Blessed Mindset here. We about to react to another video, you know. So stay tuned because this video right here is gonna change your reality. Today we are gonna be reacting to the profound meaning of Plato's Allegory of the Cave. If you guys don't know Plato, he's a Greek philosopher, lived many, many years ago, right? And he had one of the biggest influences on philosophy and Western civilization as a whole. So we got a video right here by After School, right? And they're going to break down the ideas behind Plato's story, the Allegory of the Cave. So stay tuned.
Soren Kierkegaard was right. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. It's a fact that for most of our lives, we humans unconsciously bask in ignorance. But sometimes, special people come along to wake us from this state that some would call bliss. In fact, the myth of the hero who brings wisdom, symbolized by light or fire, in a world of ignorance symbolized by darkness, is as old as humanity itself and can be found in all cultures across works of literature and art. Take, for example, Plato's Allegory of the Cave. People usually learn about it in school when they make their first contact with the philosophers of old. But most of us are too young and inexperienced to fully understand its profound meaning and teachings until way later in life, when we start to question the reality that has been programmed into us and to form our own beliefs and values. When
This story is very important, guys, because as a philosopher, you always gotta ask the question, why? And it's so simple, but it's so true. You gotta ask yourself, why do I believe in these things? Why am I pursuing this career? Why am I pursuing these goals? Why am I with this woman? Why am I hanging out with these people? Most people don't even question their reality, right? Because they're just trapped in the web of the matrix. But Plato's Allegory of the Cave shows that even when somebody gets enlightened, a lot of people will still reject that enlightened individual.
moment comes, having a roadmap for the journey that one has to undertake and becoming aware of the obstacles that may emerge is a thing of utmost importance. And in today's episode, in collaboration with After School, we are going to explore this journey by dissecting Plato's Allegory of the Cave, its connection to ancient myths, and the ultimate narrative archetype we know as the hero's journey.
The hero's myth, guys.
Plato's Allegory of the Cave is one of the most influential philosophical concepts ever introduced, encapsulating timeless questions about reality, knowledge, perception, and enlightenment. Located in Plato's seminal work, The Republic, the Allegory of the Cave serves as a metaphorical narrative depicting the human condition's journey from ignorance to enlightenment.
Remember, guys, epistemology is the study of knowledge. Philosophers have to study the ideas behind knowledge and why they believe it. Look this up, guys. It's based off of justified true belief. Justified true belief, guys. So, in philosophy, if you can't justify your beliefs, then they're more likely to be incorrect. You got to study the ideas of induction versus inductive reasoning versus deductive reasoning, guys. Inductive reasoning means on a bounds of probabilities this is true. Deductive reasoning is more logical reasoning leading to an absolute conclusion. Remember, guys.
Embedded within this allegory are profound implications about the nature of knowledge and the transformative journey of gaining wisdom. The narrative echoes through numerous myths and philosophical discourses, bearing a particularly striking resemblance to the Greek myth of Prometheus and the archetypal hero's journey. In Plato's profound allegory, he uses the metaphor of a subterranean cave to illustrate a group of prisoners sequestered from birth. Their world is one of complete isolation, devoid of any contact with the external universe.
This is the idea of the slave mind, guys. The slave mind. People don't think for themselves. A lot of people are thinking for them.
Bound by chains and restricted in their movements, they are compelled to face the barren cave wall, deprived of the ability to swivel their heads or see beyond their immediate environment. An enigmatic fire positioned behind them flickers dimly, barely illuminating their dreary surroundings. Periodically, individuals walk behind the prisoners, parading various figures. These are representations of animals, plants, and an array of other artifacts. These objects, when passing by the fire, cast elongated and distorted shadows on the stone wall before the prisoners. Having no other experiences, the prisoners mistake these dancing illusions for reality, categorizing them and assigning them names, erroneously believing that they are discerning, tangible entities. You can see where Plato is going with this. Unexpectedly, one prisoner's shackles are removed, and he is thrust into the world beyond the cave for the very first time. The moment is ripe for him to be...
So, guys, first you can see that there are individuals that stay slave-minded, like, in terms of, like, they are just taught a certain way, so they just stay in the same exact way, exactly how they're taught. They haven't questioned the reality or anything, right? This is right because my parents said so, right? Like those type of ideas, but they didn't question why, you know, or is this right? Like imagine like a white supremacist or something like that, or even a black supremacist. The same thing. So let's say a white supremacist just got taught their whole lives that black people are like they're wrong, or they're just immoral, or they're stupid. The person that's trapped in chains are going to be the individuals that are like, they just stick with that same mentality and they haven't thought about why do I believe in this. But the people that are questioning the reality are like this guy right here. This guy right here, he's questioning his reality right now. He's trying to climb up the cave. He's trying to climb up out the cave. You know, he's not there yet. Remember, guys, he's not there yet. He doesn't know the truth yet. He's trying to like, it's kind of like that moment where you get a little bit red pill and you're like, oh shoot, man, I didn't even know none of this, you know what I'm saying? But still, I understand it a little bit. I just can't fully conceptualize everything. So that's where this guy is.
Tested. The intense brilliance of the sunlight initially hurts his eyes, and the unfamiliar environment bewilders him. When confronted with the fact that his former perception of reality was merely a distorted illusion, and that the things he now sees around him are the real objects, he starts to suffer, his previous reality being deconstructed before his very eyes.
Remember, guys, the reason why he's acting like this is because when you tell somebody the truth and they didn't never even like witness the truth, it takes a minute to process. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, like, I don't even believe this. Like, this ain't true. It takes time for it to process. That's why this guy right here is going through it. Usually when you get hit with the truth and you realize it's the truth, you got to take a couple days, couple weeks, couple years to even process it.
The mind that opens to a new idea never returns to its original size. The shadows he was familiar with appeared much more vivid to him. However, as time progresses, his eyes slowly adapt to the overwhelming brightness, and his suffering slowly passes as he gets accustomed to his new perspective. Gradually, he starts perceiving reflections in shimmering water bodies, progresses to observing objects directly, and finally,
Yes, because it's a process. So once that guy gets out of the cave, he's realizing like, oh, okay, it may burn my eyes a little bit, but everything's okay. So you start to change your reality around, and then you start to realize like, wow, the truth is much more valuable than the lies. Jordan Peterson once said, he said, if you lie, you're not living your life. You're living the life of the spirit of the lie. So there's a spirit behind that. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you lie, you feel bad. You got a, moral conscience. You feel it. But this guy right here now, he's living free. He's living in truth. And I hear these claims all the time. Oh yeah, I'm just living in my truth. There's no such thing as my truth. This guy is living in the truth. Objective truth, independent of the human condition.
Dares to gaze at the radiant sun, the ultimate source of light that illuminates everything he has been observing. Emboldened by his newfound understanding, the prisoner makes his way back to the cave, intending to share his revelations with the other prisoners.
Remember, guys, this guy, he's finally saw the truth. And he's so excited that he wants to bring it back to his people so he can, share it so everybody else can get awakened. But as you see, as the story goes on, they're going to reject it because they don't understand the truth.
However, having grown accustomed to the light, he now finds the cave's darkness disorienting and struggles to discern the once familiar shadows on the wall. The other prisoners, misconstruing his disorientation, surmise that his journey into the outer world has left him imbecilic and blinded, thereby rebuffing his attempts to liberate them vehemently. Plato presents this passage as an intricate metaphor, symbolizing the predicament of a philosopher tasked with enlightening the masses.
Remember, guys, this happens all throughout history. Martin Luther King spoke truth, gets killed. Malcolm X spoke truth, gets killed. Charlie Kirk, we can even talk about Charlie Kirk, spoke truth and gets killed. So it's not just left and right type of political movements. No, when you speak truth, they come and take you out. It's not about black. It's not about white. It's not about left. It's not about right. It's not about Republican, Democrat. It's not about Black Panthers or MAGA movement. You speak truth, niggas will come and take you out. Abraham Lincoln, another example. Socrates, right? The idea of Socrates. So Socrates was the main nigga. One of the first niggas that got taken out. Right? Socrates went against his own government. And all he did was ask questions. That's all he did. He asked, why is this right? Why is this wrong? He's just doing an internal critique. He's just critiquing the other person's arguments. And guess what? They made him drink poison and murders him. That's what happened to me, bro. It's one time I went to a church and this one nigga, he pulls up on me, the pastor. The nigga said, yo, who are you, bro? I'm like, yo, I'm Damon, bro. I'm with my boy. Because it was my boy's church. And he was like, he said, man, I see you over here, you doing weird symbolism and shit. I'm like, weird symbolism? Nah, bro. Like, if I was, bro, I didn't mean to do none of that. Cause it's 10 a.m., bro. I'm tired. I got, you know what I'm saying? I work night shift, son. I'm just sitting there. This is my first time in the church. I'm just chilling. And then you know what this nigga said to me after that? He said, are you a believer in Christ? I said, what do you mean by a believer in Christ? He said, nah, bro, you gotta leave. I'm like, leave? I need clarification before I submit to your principles, bro. I didn't say that, but I'm just speaking out loud. And I just slid. So He gave me an either or. He gave me two choices: either believe in the shit he believe in or get out my church. Well, get out his church. It's called an either or logical fallacy. There's an error in which he was thinking. Right? So this guy is the same as the niggas that's trapped in the cave. Because I asked a philosophical question so I can analyze his position to see if I can even fit into the category in which a believer in Christ would fit in. That's why that nigga was wrong. He wanted me to submit to his position. So it's the same symbolic representation as Socrates getting killed. It's the same symbolic representation, but except in my subjective experience, I get kicked out of the church. I came to bring, I'm like that other nigga that was in the video. The nigga that came to bring enlightenment. Niggas rejected my enlightenment, bro. That's what I'm saying. Niggas rejected it, just like they rejected the nigga for going back into the cave to awaken his people.
He asserts that most people not only find solace in their ignorance, but also exhibit hostility towards those who challenge their preconceived notions. There are many ways in which one can interpret Plato's allegory of the cave, each perspective having its own profound teachings. After all, this is what an allegory is all about. Reflecting on real-world events, Socrates, Plato's mentor, was condemned to death by the Athenian government in the same way that the freed prisoner was attacked by the cave dwellers. His crime was the disruption of societal order by questioning prevailing norms. So, to fully comprehend the allegory of the cave, it's vital to situate it within its historical context and connect it to the broader philosophical tenets espoused.
Listen, niggas fear me in the physical form, man. They fear me, they feared Jesus, they feared Socrates, nigga, they feared Charlie Kirk. What that nigga Tupac say? Niggas fear me in the physical form.
By Plato. Emerging from a period marked by vibrant intellectual inquiry and cultural development in Athens, Plato's allegory encapsulates his metaphysical and epistemological viewpoints, deeply influenced by his mentor Socrates. Around the 5th century BCE, ancient Greece, and particularly Athens, was seen as a hub of intellectual innovation and discourse. This era, often called the Golden Age of Athens, saw a proliferation of philosophical inquiry into areas such as ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. In the midst of this intellectual climate, Socrates propounded philosophical methods emphasizing critical thinking and logical argumentation, upsetting the powers in charge. While Socrates never recorded his thoughts, his philosophy and dialectical method are reflected in the works of his student Plato. Plato's philosophical worldview is primarily documented in his dialogues, where he explores various philosophical questions through the voice of Socrates and other characters. The Republic, which contains the allegory of the cave, is one of his most significant works, focusing on justice and the ideal society. The allegory of the cave is nestled in the middle of the Republic, presented by Socrates as a metaphor illustrating his theory of forms. According to Plato, the empirical world we perceive with our senses is merely a world of appearances, a poor copy of the real world of forms or ideas.
This is very important, guys, how Plato looked at reality. It was more like a dualistic type of viewpoint. The forms have more value than the material. So the material, we got wallet, we got coffee cup, this is material, we got hand, it's made of material. But Platonic forms are immaterial. We talking about the highest standard of love, the highest standard of good, highest standard of justice. Those are all abstract, metaphysical concepts that we can't even conceptualize. Some people say it's subjective, but Plato believed they were objective. It's just hard to conceptualize because human knowledge is limited, guys. Human knowledge is limited.
These forms are the eternal, unchangeable, perfect archetypes of the imperfect, transitory things we perceive in the world. The cave prisoners, chained and observing the shadows on the wall, symbolize humanity's predicament in the empirical world, misled by illusions and false appearances. The freed prisoner represents the philosopher or the enlightened individual who perceives the world of forms, gaining true knowledge.
The person that really understands that metaphysics are the true reality. Those are the enlightened ones. The people that are enslaved by the materialistic realm, those are the slaves in Plato's eyes.
When he returns to the cave to enlighten others, he embodies the philosopher's responsibility to educate society, even in the face of resistance or hostility. In this context, the allegory is a vivid encapsulation of Plato's philosophical...
Hold on, guys, my headphones died.
ideas. The allegory is a vivid encapsulation of Plato's philosophical ideas, a profound meditation on the nature of reality, the pursuit of truth, the philosopher's role, and the transformative power of knowledge. Turning from the philosophical landscape of ancient Greece to its rich mythological tapestry, we encounter a narrative bearing remarkable parallels to Plato's cave allegory, the myth of Prometheus. This tale, steeped in ancient lore, recounts how the Titan Prometheus, whose name means forethought, rebelled against the gods to steal fire, a symbol of knowledge and civilization. Prometheus, an ally of the mortals, recognized their disadvantaged state in a world where the gods withheld vital knowledge. In an act of defiance and compassion, he stole fire from the gods and delivered it to humanity. Fire, in this context, symbolizes knowledge, enlightenment, and the spark of civilization, the critical element that elevated humans from a state of primal vulnerability to becoming creators and innovators in their own right. This act of knowledge transference has clear echoes of the journey undertaken by the freed prisoner in Plato's allegory of the cave.
You can see that the idea of what's bro name? Prometheus, or whatever his name is. He went against the gods' orders to pursue the highest form of ethics. He went and stole knowledge and enlightenment to give back to his people. So therefore, we got to ask the question, are the laws that are in the culture the highest form of morals, or are they not? So the other question is that following laws are following laws morally are following laws moral? I would actually say no. Some laws, when we create laws, it should be the highest form of laws, but we have to know when to break those laws when it serves the highest forms of morality.
The prisoner, upon discovering the world beyond the cave, returns to share this newfound knowledge, akin to Prometheus bringing fire to humans. In both narratives, the central figures undertake a form of hero's journey, venturing into an unknown realm, be it the world of sunlight or the realm of the gods, gaining a transformative tool or insight, and returning to their original realm to share this knowledge. However, the dissemination of knowledge isn't met with gratitude or celebration in either story. Prometheus faces severe divine punishment for his transgression, bound to a rock, and subjected to daily torment by an eagle. Similarly,
Bro, that's so beautiful, bro. Because that happens to every single hero, bro. Malcolm X got condemned, Martin, Jesus, Socrates, they all get condemned.
the enlightened prisoner, upon returning to the cave, is met with disbelief and hostility from those still enchained. These narratives underscore the trials and tribulations often faced by those who challenge established perceptions and strive to illuminate the path to enlightenment. At the same time, the hero or the philosopher must understand that some people are not yet ready to leave the cave, so they must be patient and empathetic. In these parallel journeys of Prometheus and the cave prisoner, we can discern an exploration of the transformative power of knowledge, the courage required to defy established norms, and the resilience needed to withstand the societal resistance often faced by visionaries. Drawing these comparisons allows us to not only understand the shared themes of these ancient narratives, but also recognize the recurring patterns of human experience they represent. These are what we call the universal archetypes. As mentioned earlier, the hero's journey is such an archetype. The hero's journey is a narrative pattern identified by scholar Joseph Campbell in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. It outlines a universal motif of adventure and transformation that runs through virtually all of the world's mythic traditions. The hero's journey unfolds in three stages: departure or separation, initiation, and return. In the departure stage, the hero leaves their familiar world and ventures into the unknown, often following a call to adventure. This stage resonates with the enlightened prisoner's departure from the cave and Prometheus's journey to the realm of the gods. The initiation stage is marked by various trials, confrontations, and revelations, leading to a climactic experience that grants the hero new knowledge or power.
You gotta understand, guys, that's why the hero always has courage. He always has courage, never too much pride, and he's willing to sacrifice the present for the future.
In the Allegory of the Cave, this corresponds to the prisoner's exposure to the sunlight and realization of the true world beyond the cave. For Prometheus, it's his acquisition of fire from the gods. The return stage involves the hero's journey back to their familiar world, bearing the wisdom or power they've gained, intending to share it with others. In most stories, the return involves a final trial, which tests the hero's ability to impart that knowledge. This echoes a crucial aspect of the hero's journey. The transformation often incites resistance as it challenges established norms and perceptions. Whether this archetype takes the form of mythological tales, philosophical allegories, religious parables, or contemporary narratives, these themes of enlightenment, struggle, and transformation have universally captivated the human imagination. In Indian culture, the story of Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, embodies similar themes. Born into royal luxury, Siddhartha eventually leaves his sheltered existence to confront the harsh realities of human suffering. This knowledge inspires his journey to enlightenment, after which he returns to share his insights, facing both acceptance and resistance. In Chinese philosophy, the Confucian idea of the superior man who learns, reflects, and acts for the benefit of society echoes the enlightened prisoner's journey in the cave allegory. Similarly, Laozi's Taoist teachings emphasize wisdom acquired through a deep understanding of nature and the self, bearing parallels to the pursuit of truth in Plato's Allegory. In contemporary literature and media, these archetypal themes recur as well. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings series, Friedrich Nietzsche's Zarathustra, and even more recent films like The Matrix showcase protagonists embarking on transformative journeys akin to the hero's journey, involving enlightenment and the subsequent challenge of sharing that knowledge. In fact, The Matrix can be seen as a modern and improved adaptation of Plato's cave. All of these stories aim to teach us one important lesson: to question our understanding of reality.
Remember, guys, you must question your understanding of reality.
Just as the cave dwellers mistake the shadows for reality, we may base our perceptions on incomplete or distorted information. There is no meaning in living in darkness, and that's precisely why Socrates said that the unexamined life is not worth living.
The unexamined life is not worth living. That's the truth.
In light of these insights, the Allegory of the Cave is not merely a philosophical thought experiment, but a timeless guide illuminating the path to knowledge, self-transformation, and societal progress. In Plato's perspective, for most of our lives, we dwell in obscurity. Many pursuits that ignite our passions, such as the allure of fame, the quest for an ideal companion, or the desire for a prestigious profession, are far less tangible than we believe. These are largely illusions crafted by societal expectations and projected onto our susceptible consciousness. Yet, because society collectively validates these illusions, we become entranced from our early years. It is not our fault for being raised in these conditions, but it is our solemn duty to escape. The only question is, will you muster the courage to journey toward enlightenment, even if it means distancing yourself from loved ones? Or will you remain nestled in the comforting embrace of familiar delusions? Seek veracity or remain in routine? Illuminate or linger in the dim? The decisions are daunting, but take solace in knowing that you're not alone. Many of us are on the same path. As Manly Palmer Hall beautifully put it, the hours may be long and the teachers cruel, but each of us must walk that path, and the only ones ready to go onward are those who have passed through the gateway of experience.
Wow.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of After School.
Man, that video, that might have been one of the greatest videos I've ever watched. I read the Allegory of the Cave in a book, but just seeing the visuals behind it, they comparing it to the Matrix, and then me comparing it to my own experience, like I said, with going to the church and stuff like that, and comparing it to other historical figures such as Malcolm Morton, Thomas Sowell, or Jordan Peterson. You know what I'm saying? He was condemned for a long time, bro. He's still condemned to this day. But once you speak truth, a lot of those people that are in the cave, they're gonna condemn you because they lack understanding. They haven't been through the same process, right? So we gotta keep learning more, studying philosophy, studying theology, and make sure that we are on the correct path, right? Because the thing is, we gotta keep examining ourselves over and over again. Because I'm not perfect. I'm still in the cave. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm still in the cave. I can read all these books all day, but if I don't truly understand the books, then I will be a slave trapped in the cave, just like those other guys. So we got to make sure to keep examining our lives and ask ourselves, why we believe this? Why are we doing this? Is this for capital, for material gains, or is this for the human flourishing? Or is this for the highest Platonic forms, like Plato discussed? So, hey, thank you guys for watching this video, man. I hope y'all go ahead and read this book, The Allegory of the Cave, and really read all of Plato's books, and make sure you study his philosophy front to back, because his stuff is just so top tier that he's one of those philosophers you read until you're 80 years old and you still won't understand. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for watching this video, man. Comment down below if you want me to react to another after school video, man. Peace out.